Well, hey there everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Adam, thanks for hanging out with me again today. And on today's video we have a car that was sent in for review, and so far I've taken a sneak peek at it and it seems like a really nice one. What this is a 1/10 scale Hosim brushless truck. We're going to call it the Onslaught because that's the only discerning name on the body. This truck comes in two different varieties. It comes with the pickup truck body, kind of as you see it on the box, which is nice. And then they also have kind of a more sport, sleek race truck look. Kind of think of the E-Revo type look, where it's the low slung body, real low roof, kind of wing on the back and everything, you know, real aerodynamic looking race truck. They gave me the option of either one. I couldn't make up a decision, so I asked my wife. She liked the kind of more standard cab truck look, so that's the one we're going to take a look at. So this was sent to me for review by Hosim. They sent it to me from their Amazon store. I'll have a link down below in the description for that listing for both of them. So this one I believe is the X07. No, this is the X08, and there's also the X07, I believe, which is the more racier version. So like I said, I have taken it out of the box, kind of wrapped my head around it and looked it over, and you know, what I'm seeing I kind of like. So this is the truck. Now, this is what I'm going to consider the Amazon 1/10 scale. It's not 1/10 scale. You know, a 1/10 scale truck would be, you know, this much bigger, this much taller, but for what it is fine. You know, scale wise, you know, probably more of a 12 scale, maybe, but a whole lot bigger than the average 1/16, 1/18 scale that you see a lot on Amazon. Now, the cool thing with this is it's a fully ready to run package. So you get your truck, you get your controller, you get your batteries, everything you need to get up and going. The only thing you have to supply is the 4 AA batteries for the controller. Another great feature, and I'm starting to see this more and more on the Amazon trucks. Come on. You'll see why this is hard in a second. There's two bodies. So this is the one pictured on the front of the box. It's kind of the blue and red, well, two-tone blue and red and black version. And then this one I really like. It's got the neon colors, so you know, I'm an 80s 90s kid, so you know, this kind of screams to me that is something that's cool. So I really like having the two bodies. Now both of these are fully screen printed bodies, so there's no decals on here, and it does have a protective film on when you get it, so you will peel that off once you get your truck. But it does give you an option to either have a basher body and then kind of a shelf queen body, or you know, replacements once you take it out and beat it up. And believe me, you're probably going to take it out and beat it up. This seems like it's going to be a pretty rowdy little truck. So quick look at the chassis. You know, we've seen this layout many times. The chassis does have a lot of the honeycomb support built into it to kind of stiffen up that plastic tub, which is nice. Has a nice little plastic front brace to kind of keep that front end from flexing. Now there is no center brace, you know, you see in a lot of the bigger bashers, but I think on this size and this short of a wheelbase, it's not going to make a big difference. The one thing I really do like about this truck so far, you have fully adjustable oil-filled shocks that actually do their job. So they're not like some of the other ones I've been sent to where the shocks are iffy. If anything, they're a little too stiff, but I think that's going to help us overall. The tires are firm, but a nice feeling rubber compound. It does feel like there's foams in here. They're well glued to the rims. So I think the stiffness is there to keep the tires from turning into pizza cutters once you get this thing up to speed. You have an all-in-one ESC speed control, so it's a brushless motor, so you have the brushless speed control. It does have some capacitors built in, which should help with the immediate punch. You have the small little teeny tiny antenna here, and you do have some lights heading up to the front, and there is a little light bar built into the front bumper. Now the front bumper does have kind of that little crash zone that we're used to seeing. It does feel kind of stiff, so I'm not sure how well that's actually going to absorb an impact, but it does look plenty beefy if you do smack something head on that, you know, it's not going to just shatter. The rear actually does have a good bit of flex in the wheelie bar, which is probably going to be good because I can imagine this thing is going to get up on the wheelie bar fairly often. It does have a small kind of 380 sized motor in there. Don't quote me on the motors. Brushless motor terminology is too confusing for me. You got a 4755 kV, 9,000 milliamp. It's small. It's brushless. Seems like it's got a lot of punch. So happy with that. Does have a micro servo in it. You know, maybe once you guys start claiming 10 scale, maybe put a bigger servo in. But I understand why they did it. There's not a whole lot of room in this chassis, especially when you have a bigger size battery than a lot offer. You know, some of the other ones offer these little short lithium ion packs. These come with actual LiPo packs in them. I'll take this out. And I really like this battery compartment in here. It's 4-walled. So once you strap this in, it is not going to rattle around, fly out, you know, but it is custom fit for these size batteries. So a lot of you guys that run the smaller cars will have something similar, but this does come with 2 batteries. It's 2600 milliamp 25C LiPo batteries with the balance charge port on it. I have the other one charging right now on my nice whisper quiet GT Power charger. I'm really loving that I can charge something and record a video at the same time. So you get the 2 batteries in here. When it comes, both batteries are installed in the car, and you have them stacked on top of each other, and they actually have a secondary battery strap in here. So if this does get worn out or ripped or torn or something, you do have a backup battery strap you can install in here, which was a cool thing as well. Features of the car itself: you have cast aluminum front and rear hubs. The upper and lower arms are interchangeable front to rear. So you do have metal CVDs all the way around. You have metal drive cups coming out of the output of the transmission, the diffs. I believe the diffs are full metal geared. You have full metal gears in it's almost a transmission. There's actually multiple gears in here. So metal gears in the transmission, metal gear pinion, metal center drive shaft. The metal drive shaft is riding inside of the chassis, so you don't have to worry about your battery or your motor wires or servo wires or anything getting wrapped up or worn through with that, because it's kind of protected. And you do have a full metal steering rack, metal links, beefy metal links, to be honest. The servo saver is built into the metal rack, which is nice, so you can actually run the little short servo arm there. Like I said, CVDs all the way around. You have through pins in your suspension with aluminum plates on the fronts and rears of most of them. And you do have a nice little solid steel brace on the front to, you know, help, because, you know, if you nosedive in this, there's not a lot of chassis there to keep the front end from bending up. So that metal brace there should really help keep it from flexing on that front end doing big heavy nosedives. So what do you get else in the box besides the truck and the 2 bodies? You get your radio, which I like this radio. It's a very comfortable radio. So the trigger on this actually has a pretty stiff spring in it, which may actually help while driving it. It's gonna kind of subconsciously maybe keep you on the throttle a little bit at a time instead of going full bore and, you know, sending it straight up in the air at all times. Now, the steering has a very stiff spring in it. Probably the stiffest I've felt on a radio maybe ever. Not complaining, but it does have a stiff thing. So going back to center is never going to be a problem. That thing snaps back to the center. On the top of your radio, you have your throttle and trim reverse. Throttle and steering reverse, which, you know, if you have to replace a servo in here with not their servo, then, you know, that reverse switch may be handy. The throttle, you know, it's there because it's there. If you're going to replace the ESC in here, you're going to be replacing the radio too, because it's an all-in-one unit. The nice thing is you have a throttle control rate and a steering control rate and steering trim up here. The throttle control rate is going to be really good if you're getting this for somebody new. This is their first truck and you want to ease them into it. You can actually dial this down really slow. And from the bench testing, this doesn't have a whole lot of cogging to it. So running it fairly slow should get them used to running a new truck and not tearing it up, and then you can slowly increase that up. Overall, like I said, nice and comfortable, lightweight, and plenty of spring action there. Again, you get 2 batteries in the kit. You get a little bag of tools, which is 2 different size Phillips screwdrivers. You get a whole set of wheel nuts, a whole new set of body pins. The body pins do have the little plastic dingle dongles on there that help you pull the pins in and out. Now, I like these over the rubber ones because the rubber ones, half the time they just rip right off and are kind of pointless. The plastic ones seem to hold on a little bit better. The only downfall is when you roll over, sometimes that plastic adds something that a grip. So sometimes the body pins can get pulled out. You get your cross wrench, and then you also get a couple of the cross pins for the wheel hexes. If you happen to drop one of those off, so you're working on it and you drop one, it rolls off the table. There are a couple more in the bag. You get a 1-year warranty. Now, I don't know exactly what their 1-year warranty is going to cover, but from what I've heard, Hosim is pretty good about standing behind their products. So get that filled out, get your warranty on it. You do have your USB charger. In this case, I'm not using it. I'm using the GT Power charger. Like I said, you get your kind of spare battery strap that's holding your second battery in when you get it. You get a waterproof bag. Is it? I don't know. It's just a drawstring bag, something you can put your radio in to keep it from getting wet if you're out and about. And inside there is a little cleaning brush in here. I'm not going to take it out right now, but it's a little plastic cleaning brush to get in there and clean the dirt and crud off of everything. And then you get your instruction manual, which this actually has the one truck on the front and then the other truck on the rear. But overall general instructions, how to get started. And then there is a full parts listing of pretty much every part that's available for these. So new tires and wheels, servo arm, wheelie bars, the front rocker, the front and rear suspension arms, gearbox, whole gearbox assembly, front and rear diffs, the servos, new lights for the light bar if you need them. And then it starts getting into the exploded views. So if you do have to work on your truck and you need to find out what the part number is versus that screw that came out of somewhere, or just general reference of, I took it apart 3 days ago, now I don't remember how to put it back together. You can use this as a visual aid to remember kind of, oh yeah, that goes there. But yeah, there's like 7 or 8 full exploded views. And then, of course, on the one that has the wing, it shows you how to mount the wing on there. But overall, and so it also has different QR codes on here where you can go to the Hosim store, their Facebook, and then evidently there's prizes or giveaways. But overall, first impressions of the truck is this thing is heavy. And I'm not doing a comparison, but I just want to show you guys. So this is the little thump from DRC that I got sent a while back. Now, as far as wheelbases, pretty close on the wheelbase. As far as track width, the only thing difference, I believe, is going to be the actual tires on this one are a little bit wider, so it gives it a little bit more wider of a stance. But overall, roughly same size. Now, they are 2 different trucks, but they are fairly similar. The weight difference, this one feels a slight bit heavier, but overall about the same. Now, I'm expecting with the little bit wider stance and the little bit taller tires, we are going to get a little bit more speed out of this, but this one was 3S versus this is on 2S. So I'm not sure if this one's going to be faster. It claims 68 kilometers per hour out of the box, but I'm sure that's on flat pavement with a tailwind and an overcharged battery pack. Don't know. But we're going to take that as, a maxed out super top speed. For me, it's not all going to be about the top speed. It's going to be how well this performs out in, your yard, beating it and banging it around. I think that's where a lot of these are going to end up is just, running it around in your front yard, taking it out, running around the ball field, stuff like that. Not too many are going to be doing speed runs with it, but I'm sure if you're doing speed runs with it, all of this is coming out anyway, and you're going to be putting in your own stuff. So as soon as this battery is charged up, we're going to get this guy put all back together, and then we're going to take it outside. I'm going to run it around the yard. The track is a mess. We got rain 3 or 4 times this week and just got a whole bunch yesterday. So the track is going to be wet and muddy. I'm going to take it out there, just going to see how well it does. It's probably going to slip and slide all over the place, and it was muddy as slimy as it's going to be, but we'll take it out and see what it does. But we'll romp it around in the yard, we'll take it over some jumps, see how it does, and let you guys see, is this something worthwhile to you? So I just looked this up on Amazon, and currently it is listed for $199.99, but they do have a $30 coupon code on the site, so you just click that coupon code, it knocks $30 right off the top, so you're looking at $170 for this truck. And like I said, the only thing you have to add is the 4 AA's for your battery pack, so it is right there in the average low end hobby grade market. So same price as a Gorgon, roughly a little bit more than something like the Kyosho Sandmaster. So, you know, a few other ones to think about, but I'm pretty sure if you want a basher type truck, you're going to lean more towards this than those other ones. We're going to run the blue body. I'm going to keep the cool neon one for kind of the shelf, but we're going to take this out and see how it goes. Alright guys, so that was the first, overall look, kind of somewhat review, and first run of the Hosim, we're going to call this the Onslaught. I think it's the X08, and the X07 is the more streamlined race truck looking. My initial thoughts of it, really, really powerful, durable little truck. For that small of a motor to get this thing up and running as fast as it does is very impressive. So I actually had to turn down the radio a couple times just because it was getting too much out of control. So by turning down the radio to about 80 to 90%, in a lot of cases really helps to be able to drive this and not get it too bad out of shape. It still wants to pull the front wheels up, but it doesn't want to flip over on the back of itself. Unfortunately, the little jump just wasn't doing this thing justice. With the big heavy tires on here, it wants to kind of rotate, and there's just not enough time off of that little jump to counteract it. So it landed a couple times real hard on the wheelie bar, a couple times upside down. The good thing is there is no cracks, no damage to the body. Everything looks to still be in great shape with the body. I did hear it a couple times grab on the front tires. When you're braking and turning at the same time, the front end's diving down and you're turning the tires into the body. So it did catch the body a couple times, but no damage, no paint's not rubbing off or anything, so I don't even see where it was rubbing. You guys saw it take a couple great, spectacular tumbles. Like I said, it landed fully on his wheelie bar at one point. There's no, stress in the plastics. A lot of times when you take a big hit, the plastics will kind of turn a grayish white color if they've been stressed out. No discoloration in the plastics. There's no indication of things being overtaxed or, susceptible to breakage. So overall it ran great. Now I only got maybe 15-17 minutes of runtime out of it, which isn't bad. These batteries are not huge. It's 2600 milliamps, so not a ton of storage in one of these. So one pack running you 15 minutes or so, let the truck cool off for 10 or 15 minutes, toss another pack in, run for some more. I think it's going to be a great little truck for somebody either new to the hobby or just somebody who wants something fun that they can toss in the backseat of their car, have riding around with them. Now, if you're doing that, make sure you're storing your batteries properly. Don't burn your car down. I will have this back on here. It suffered on the track a lot, and that was mostly due to the track and just the power this thing is putting out. I need to get out there, rake up the track, get it softened up. Right now it's hard as a rock, and it's wet and slick. So it just wanted to skate around and spin out and stuff like that. Unfortunately, I did hit low voltage trying to run it on the track. The only complaint I have about this so far is when it hits low voltage, it wants to kind of keep rolling. And what I mean about that is when it hits low voltage, you no longer have any throttle control, because it's cut your throttle control out. You can still steer the car, but it has zero throttle input from your radio, but it's still rolling, which, you can't, like I said, you can still steer it. But there's one clip out there where I was trying to do some donuts at the very last minute, and it hit low voltage. It ran into the pipes, and it was just sitting there digging in and cogging and trying to go forward until it finally cut itself off. That is the only downfall I see to this so far. Like I said, it took a couple good hits square on the body, no damage to the body. I know it took a hell of a hit back here, took a bunch of tumbles. There's no evidence of anything being wrong. All the axles are still nice and straight. Everything still sounds good. So first impressions, I like it a lot. I do think it's a little bit better than the other one that I reviewed, but every company is going to be a little bit different. Every chassis is going to be a little bit different. Both of them were fun. I think this on 2S is almost as fast as the other one on 3S. Now, I do have to say, the other one did not get hot. This motor does get pretty warm, so you do not want to run these batteries back to back. You may cook the motor by doing that. If you do plan on running it hard and often, I would probably suggest getting a fan cooler with another fan. Hopefully you'd be able to plug into one of these other ports and be able to have power for your fan on here. It's cooled off now, so it's been about 10 minutes since it ran, and the motor's completely cooled off. It's slightly warm, warmer than room temperature, but it's cooled off. So the cooling fins on here do well. It just may do a little bit better if you had a separate cooling fan on here. And there's plenty of room over here, so you can clock your cooling fins and put your cooling fan over here. So just a thought. Cooling fans are super cheap. You can probably pick up this and a cooling fan for 25, 30 bucks and not have to worry about, you know, cooking that motor. Overall, like I said, I'm very impressed with it. I'm gonna get this guy cleaned up a little bit. I'm not gonna clean it up too much. I'll wait and do that after we take the second run with it. I do want to get the track cleaned up, get it loosened up so we can actually get this out there and see, you know, give it an ability to get some traction and have some fun with it. But first impressions, I really like it. I think it's a pretty good deal for the $170 it would be on Amazon. You know, I think for a ready to run truck at this size, this speed, this power, that's a pretty good deal. So that's just my opinion on it. You guys, you know, I'm not getting paid to do this review. This was sent to me for free. I could do the review however I wanted to. So these are my opinions on it. I'm not trying to upsell you. I'm not trying to sell you on it. I'm just telling you about the truck and what I think about it. So anyway, guys, as always, everybody out there, you guys be happy, be healthy, be safe, and I will catch you guys on the next one. See ya.